Hello, today I'm joined by my guest Richard Poole from Michael Poole Estate Agents. Richard, how are you?
Yeah, very well. All good.
Great. Nice to have you with us. You're obviously great RAM members. And you've been, I think what we want to try and share today is your experience of a particular supplier that you've been using with some very interesting results. And this is SalesRook, which is
Yeah.
perhaps something that other people haven't heard about, and perhaps a secret that you want to keep to yourself. But we'll whisper it very quietly. The results of this have been quite interesting. So, Richard, tell us a little bit about what attracted you to kind of giving this a go in the first place, I think.
I think initially we'd been talking about a WhatsApp solution. We tried an alternative WhatsApp solution a few years ago and didn't really take off. We didn't get an awful lot of buy-in from our team and the way we implemented it didn't really take off. So we kind of we came away from that, didn't go back to it, and then we were kind of looking at a WhatsApp solution, thinking that it's something our clients wanted. We asked some of our clients, and it was something that we thought would be quite useful. We thought there would be some good time-saving elements in it, in that everybody seems to use WhatsApp. We use it personally, and we thought, well, if it's that easy to use, surely there's a way we can implement it properly within the business. So we started looking around for a WhatsApp solution and came across SalesRook. And that's where it started from, really. Yeah, we had a chat with the guys and
And I suppose what some people might what might put them off putting a WhatsApp solution in place is that they feel that it has to kind of be physically manned the whole time, that you've actually got somebody there
yeah.
having to monitor everything. SalesRep takes care of a lot of that for you, doesn't it?
It does, and that was our take on it initially. Our worry was, am I going to have a spare mobile in each office? Is people are going to have to monitor and this, that, and the other all the time? And it isn't like that at all. It is very much an AI solution for WhatsApp. It's so much more than just WhatsApp itself, which is initially what we were looking for. But then they explain the other benefits around that and what they can build into your systems and integrate it. That it's so much more than just a WhatsApp solution and contacting your vendors or landlords.
And we use WhatsApp obviously for convenience, but we shouldn't underestimate its the prevalence of it really amongst average customers out there who are using it. And I think what's staggering for me were the statistics that came back, that I think you get an overall a 92% applicant response rate via WhatsApp, compared to what is an industry average of say 30% if you're using email marketing.
Yeah.
Um,
And we've seen that. We can see that with the day-to-day use. Um, Not just the fact that you get the response, but it's the time of the response. If you've got yourself, if you've got your phone in your hand and you're not busy working, then a WhatsApp message pops up. You will probably read it, and chances are you're going to respond to it relatively quickly. You're certainly going to respond to it much quicker than you will an email, which you may not read till the end of the day, till you're maybe home, if you're in a job where you can't read your emails all the time. So we've just found the response time is so much easier, and we can build a conversation with people much quicker, and just get things done quicker. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not for everyone, but most people respond to it much quicker than they do email.
I think so. And I think they're more likely to sort of respond to it, whereas an email you tend to sort of read and go, okay, I'll deal with that later. It's
Yeah,
almost become
exactly.
like that letter that you put on the side in your hallways, thinking, right, it's
Yeah.
under a stack of bills. I'll get
But
that.
if you're anything like me, how many emails you receive in one day
Gosh,
that
yeah.
you really don't want to be reading, or you haven't got time, and you're not going to respond to anyway, it could quite easily get buried in that. And before you know it, you've had another 10, 15, 20 emails which seem to be much more important, and you've forgotten about it. Whereas a WhatsApp message is there, it's very quick to respond to, and generally you don't forget about it.
Okay, perfect. So in terms of time though to implement these things, again, you know, you say that when you look at this solution, what do I need? Do I need phones? Do I need to have somebody dedicated to do it? We sort of panic and think, well, you know, you've got seven branches using this. But what was amazing to me was you've got them set up within a relatively short period of time. I think in approximately 3 weeks,
Yeah,
you
around
were
three
fully
weeks.
onboarded and kind of
Yeah,
functioning.
we launched initially with one sales branch. We picked a branch where I thought, well, they're going to respond to the WhatsApp relatively easily, and they did. That went very smoothly within a week. We've actually got 9 branches on it now, so that all branches, including lettings, are now up and running. So we launched it with sales first, and then implemented it in the lettings team. Um, like anything, there's one or two small teething issues and people getting used to it, but it was around 3 weeks before the whole business was up and running with it. Yeah,
And as I understand it, I mean, and one of the things that we kind of worry about, we have lots of panel discussions in the industry about AI. There's loads of headlines about how it's all gonna, um, some of the people using it think it's great. Some people feel threatened by it. There's some of us old guns that have been around for a while think we might be replaced by AI in 50 years' time. But you've, it's not just a faceless entity. You've had some ability to sort of hone that AI persona. I understand it's got a name, Elsie.
Elsie. Yeah.
Um, it-
Well, we were we were told to we were recommended, sorry, that to build this AI persona, it would react to a female name, short female name, and anyway, my daughter's called Elsie, so we called it Elsie. And yeah,
Fantastic.
it's got its own persona now. We get people when they call, they refer to Elsie. We've even had people come in the office asking to speak to Elsie.
I
And
mean, and that's great. So that I mean, that's a testament really to the fact that people do interact with it and actually don't feel that it's not robotic. It's got a personality and it's taken on your kind of brand identity as well. So you've spent some time sort of honing it and tweaking it to give it the
yeah, I
same
mean
sort of
that's very much
personality.
down to SalesRook guys. It kind of it learns how the brand talks and develops that way. Um, and whilst it is an AI bot, especially sorry, effectively talking to the clients, they have developed it in a way now that it will eventually tell it, look, it is an AI solution. I'm not a member of the team because we've had people coming in asking for LC, but it's very clever in the way it works, and that is down to the SalesRook guys. They've developed this way of it being on brand with Michael Poole's, and yeah, it's worked very, very well.
So, so, so as I understand it, I think the stats so far, the scores on the doors are that sort of 60 to 65% of all the applicants that are coming through now, Elsie is helping to qualify
Yeah,
those
fully,
leads, those people that you're talking to.
fully qualify them.
So
Yeah.
there are two questions on that. One, did that kind of level of engagement surprise you that so many people were going to go through the whole conversation with Elsie? And the second part of that is feeding that back into your office. So then when they are having actual conversations with actual people, presumably those are a lot more productive off the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were surprised at the response rate. We made sure that we weren't too top heavy in the questions. Sales applicants will only get asked around 4 questions. Obviously, there are conversation points in the middle of that. LC will respond to various questions if there's additional questions there. But there's 4 key areas that we're looking for to get a response, and we were surprised that most of them do that. And lettings, there's a lot more simply because we wanted to gain a lot more information to fully qualify a lettings applicant as opposed to a sales applicant with regards to children, pets, any sort of benefits, things like that. But yeah, the 65% rate, and that's a fully qualified applicant. So the report that we get through will give us the information to then go on to the second point that you raised, that when my team are then phoning that applicant, they've got so much information already that they're going to have a useful, beneficial conversation with that applicant, knowing what they're already looking for. So yes, it's more productive. It's saved an awful lot of time on the registration and qualifying, but it's just a much more natural conversation. And when if you speak to somebody and they already know what you're looking for and they're talking about what you've already
Yeah.
said, it kind of builds that rapport,
Yeah. It, it,
which is
and that
really
is lovely.
beneficial. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Building that initial rapport with somebody.
Now, I think we've all engaged on if we're buying things online, sometimes you engage with a chat bot and eventually they put you through to somebody. And then when that somebody speaks to you, if the first question is, hello, how can I help you? And you have to start again from the beginning, that's really frustrating. But if, however, it's a lovely, warm conversation, I understand you're looking to book a viewing for this property and you're in that position, it almost breaks down all those kind of barriers, and I think it helps to convert these conversations into actual productive conversations that yield good results.
It does. You mentioned before that people's fear that it's going to replace them, and we genuinely had exactly the same response from one or two of our branches. In that they were saying, well, we still want to speak to our applicants, and the idea is you still genuinely have to speak to your applicants. This isn't to take that away. If anything, it's to enhance the conversation you're going to have with your applicant, and you can prioritize. So the conversation, the 60 to 65% of the applicants that are coming in are fully qualified. We can prioritize those over the ones, we still get the other leads, but over the ones who haven't finished qualifying. So if somebody's cut the conversation off after two or three questions, somebody's just been unresponsive, we still get the lead coming through. It comes up through as an unqualified lead. So we can still phone that person and say, look, we've got certain information, but what we can do is prioritize those really fully qualified applicants and speak to them first and just have a better conversation with them. It's not taking away the human to human contact, which is so important in our industry. It's enhancing it, if anything.
Hugely important. I totally agree with you. I think used in the right way, I think definitely does enhance the value and the quality of conversations that we're able to have. But I'm presuming as well the main kind of one of the main beneficial factors is that your your teams must feel a little bit more empowered in terms of the amount of time now that they have freed up. I mean, yeah, if they hear me saying this, they'll say we never have free time. And I know that as an estate agent, we're always busy doing something. But the point is, you can focus on higher value tasks initially, can't you? Rather than sort of qualifying those initial
Yeah,
inquiries.
yeah, you can spend more time on your viewings, you can spend more time negotiating, and also business development and prospecting. Um, the time taken from fully qualifying somebody or chasing those leads is now spent on productive tasks. We there's no doubt when I speak to the team that they find that side of it has been invaluable to them.
I think one of the things that sometimes when we're talking about tech and new solutions, I think one of the things that we find very difficult to actually sort of pin down is the ROI on a
Yeah.
particular product. So if I said to you, right, the ROI on property portals, you say, look, I need it to do my job. I couldn't tell you precisely what the return on
No.
investment is. But in this case here, it's got a very, a very good way of allowing you to sort of actively assess ROI in terms of the leads that you're bringing in. To sort of, if you don't mind, we'll just concentrate on that for a second. And I think in your so the stats that have been, sort of been confirmed to me was that in your second month of using SalesRook, and I think this was December, January. So I just want to sort of remind everybody, December, January for estate agents, as we all know, traditionally those months we kind of moan about a little bit as being somehow slower in terms of lead gen because people are, they're
Yeah.
focused on holidays, families,
Other things
Christmas,
going. Yeah.
whatnot.
There's plenty going on those in those couple of
Yeah.
months.
Uh, but for, you've got 600 sales applicants that you spoke to during that period, and using sales, you managed to identify, I think it was 112 valuation opportunities and 84 mortgage referrals. I mean, that's staggering, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We were surprised at how many opportunities it highlighted, but it's the clarity of the opportunity that is key. I think too often there's quite a lot of noise in the portal leads when they're coming through. And it's easy for those opportunities to be missed with what else is going on within the office. SalesRook have managed now to, when the lead comes through, it breaks down those opportunities very clearly so you can see exactly what it is the client's looking
Yeah.
for. So yeah, 112 valuation opportunities, 84 mortgage referrals, and of those, we managed to carry out 38 of those valuations and 12 of them turned into new instructions, which in those months we were very pleased with, particularly. Bear in mind, we'd only been running with SalesRook for about 2 months at that point. So it was
Yeah.
still very, very new to the team. I dare say if we look at the stats now, they'd be even more impressive. But we hadn't even been, this was very new to us. We were still kind of bedding it in. Um, Particularly the FS referrals, we were particularly pleased with, and how clear they were on the opportunities and how easy they were to it was to gain that information.
Uh, it's fantastic, and I think it's something that really sort of does stand out. So in terms of those new instructions, I mean that's worth a considerable amount of money to an agency. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's in the region of, I don't want to sort of give away specifics, but those kind of instructions could be in the region of sort of £30,000 of
Yeah,
revenue.
those 12 instructions was when we tallied them up, it was around £30,000.
We can't have this conversation without talking about your membership of the Relocation Agent Network. I know you're proud members, and we're proud to have you as members. Um, Obviously, part of that is identifying at an early stage when we have conversations with people, so sellers, buyers, people moving in and out of the area, what might constitute sort of off-patch leads. So I doesn't fall necessarily straight into your catchment area, but it
Mhm.
might be better served by another member of the network, and you're able to make referrals. I understand that this has been quite illuminating in terms of helping you to identify those opportunities earlier.
It has, we've been members of RAN for a lot of years now, and Teesside generally, there's not a huge amount of relocation of people moving into this area, but as you say, that you don't have to go too far out of your own little patch for that to become a referral. We've not been hugely successful in those referrals, and found it a little bit difficult sometimes. Um, we've had individual branches looking after them, but when SalesRook, we started talking about the off-patch referrals, we managed to get a solution where we pushed these into one or two members of the team and kind of made those RAN champions effectively. Um, and the way they could highlight that information for an off-patch referral and push it into one particular area has been a real eye-opener to us. And the fact that of how many opportunities there are actually there right under our noses that we were missing. So they've made it very easy for us to look at those, and the amount of referrals we're pushing through now is, yeah, staggering really in comparison with what we were doing previously. It just shows you that that information was always there. We're not really doing anything different, but what we're able to do now is to pinpoint that information and push it into front of somebody who can then refer it and deal with it.
So, I mean, I think you've got one of your RAN champions is Emma, if I'm not mistaken, is
Yeah, Emma, yeah.
that. And I think she recently told us that you're uploading sort of 10 to 15 a month. And in the last 6 weeks, you've had about five valuations happen through RAN, which in terms of, conversion is a massive improvement on where you were sort of this time last year with it.
A huge, yeah, a huge improvement. You can see the benefit of it. Emma can see the benefit of it. We've got another team member now because there's a fair few. We believe we can do even better. So we've got two of them looking at it now. Um, but the increase in referral rate and valuations, we've had a couple paid already, and we're starting to look at it now and thinking, well, the off-patch valuation benefit to SalesRook will probably pay for our SalesRook AI solution on its own.
Yeah.
The rest of all the other benefits are just cream, and they're hugely beneficial to the business anyway, as we've already discussed. But if the off-patch stuff can pay for it, well, it's a win-win for everybody, really.
You talk about the other benefits. One of the other benefits, I think, is not just kind of valuation leads, which is almost like where you and I are. We're pre-programmed, aren't we, to wake up in the morning and think about where those valuations are coming from, because that's super important to the lifeblood of the business.
Yeah,
However, the other income that you can also add to your bottom line that sometimes agencies don't make enough of are things like mortgage referrals. And those tend to be difficult conversations for actual humans to have sometimes because we feel like we're pushing products along the way of doing our job at the same time, and we find it awkward to shoehorn this in. But as I understand it, using SalesRook, you've been able to identify where mortgage referrals and advice is actually truly needed and wanted. So it's not like you're pushing something on somebody. They're saying, yes, I'd like to have a chat about that.
They are. They are they're giving us and opening up that information right at the start of the transaction communication with them, which is massive, as anybody knows, it's massively beneficial to your team because you've got that information. It means you can go in there and pitch if you need to and get those referrals. And you can see by the numbers that we talked about previously of the amount of FS opportunities that we gained in a month, um, which is just there, and we're not having to go out and look for that. It's given to us. Yes, you've got to convert it. Yes, you've got to open up the dialogue with the client,
Yeah.
but SalesRook are getting that information and giving it to us on a plate and making it very easy to see.
Yeah. It's interesting because it was 84 mortgage referrals in a month where you and I would normally say, I wouldn't see 10 of them. You know,
Yeah,
you've got 84 almost pouring in. I think that's whether they go on to buy through you or they buy from another agent, that mortgage referral is yours. It sort of all feeds into your income and the quality of advice and service you're providing to your clients.
absolutely. The negotiators and the team have still got to do what they have to do. They still have their role to play in all of this. They've still got to keep in touch with the client, and they've still got to keep that lead warm and keep in touch with them regularly. It's not doing their job for them, but what it is doing is it's giving them more opportunities.
In terms of, people watching this, particularly RAM members that might be watching this, Richard, I take it goes without read in terms of how it feeds into the whole RAM membership and getting the most out of your membership and really getting the most out of the network. It's worthwhile. It's also been worthwhile for you as a customer. I take it you highly recommend this solution to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've found it we've just found it's transformed the way that we deal with RAN leads, of out of patch, out of area leads. And for other people who are considering it, particularly if they're on the fringe of where I am, and I'm, absolutely look at it as a it's a kind of plug in and play solution. Um, you can streamline it, you can push it into one area, and if you can respond to and get as many leads out of it as we are, we're going to benefit from it, particularly if you're on the fringe of my patch, and you're only going to benefit from it. So it's, yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer.
And I think you feel that as you use it and as you hone it, I think the kind of ROI, but also the efficiency of it and actually it's conversion rate is just getting better all the time in terms of how you're
Yeah.
training it.
Yeah, I'm confident that the stats that we've been talking about um, are going to improve massively as it improves, as the solution improves from sales. The one thing they're very, very good at is development. They keep in touch so regularly because we have the WhatsApp group with SalesRook. The development that they're doing all the time is very visible. They ask us for our reviews and feedback all the time, and they're always coming up with tweaks and ways. If there's any issue with anything, they're generally onto it very, very quickly, and they genuinely look for a solution. I don't have to raise a ticket and wait for 2 weeks. I can I can
That
speak.
helps.
Yeah, that does help. You can speak to someone very, very quickly. They'll go away and do some development, and they keep you in the loop, and they keep you with the feedback of how they're developing it. And I've no doubt they'll come up with some other solutions which are only going to benefit us as well. The integration with our CRM is pretty good, and that I'm sure is going to develop further to only benefit us as an agent, really.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for your time. It sounds like something that you are really benefiting from, and not just you. I think your customers are also kind of benefiting from
Yeah,
enhanced service around this. Your teams have adapted fairly well to it, so they are also benefiting from it. Although, initial skepticism, you kind of need to get through that and get over it. But it also sounds like SalesRook as a supplier providing you with very good customer service, sort of support, and are almost growing together with you. So as they're developing that solution as you guys go along. So it's great to hear.
Yeah, it's good. That's the way we're looking at it. We're looking at hopefully it's a partnership that will develop and just enhance what we already do.
Fantastic.